Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you in this daily live meditation session with me, Dhyanse. We're going through Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And yoga is when whatever you have tried in the past in your life has failed. And there is something that has to happen new, a transformation that has to happen where you leave the past behind, where you move into the new, into the future, into where you are in your full potential. You come to yoga because what you had done before, the paths that you have taken before, the value systems that you have lived before, the kind of ideas about yourself, your life, and everything else you have put together before has not served you enough, has failed to hit exactly what you want to taste in life. And this missing element, this missing something that you're searching for, brings you to yoga, where a complete transformation awaits for you, where a complete new door awaits for you, where you can leave the past behind, where whatever you have learned before. Yoga is something where you put all of that aside, and it starts by saying Atha Yoga Anuशासनम. Now the discipline of yoga. Please put everything that you know aside. The spirituality that you know, the meditation that you know, and start with yoga as Patanjali is instilling in you. He has condensed everything into 196 sutras, which we have been going through over the last couple of months. And I would like us to continue this journey with more openness towards the new, with an outlook towards the transformation, allowing the energies to reorganize, allowing the past to let go, to become really the past and not always your present, and you can move into the future, into the new, into your true potential. In this process, Patanjali is giving the value systems in the section on Astanga Yoga, where he has put in 5 values. We have discussed the first 2 values in detail in the past couple of sessions. The first value of being non-violence, second of truthfulness. Today, Patanjali would like to expound upon 2 values which are somewhat connected. One is regarding non-stealing and the other one is non-greed. Let us hear what he has to say and understand this for ourselves, contemplate over it before we sit in silence, before we sit in meditation. He says, when the yogi is firmly established in non-stealing, inner riches present themselves. And another related sutra, when the yogi is firmly established in non-possessiveness, in non-greed, there arises knowledge of the how and wherefore of existence, of oneself, of one's birth. First thing to notice, that Patanjali gave these sutras thousands of years ago, and he still had to bring in these values of non-stealing, non-greed, non-possessiveness, all these basics. Even he had to include these sutras which are supposed to take you towards higher consciousness, towards super consciousness, towards superhuman. Imagine that he's first of all instilling what is human in the human, to then take the human towards superhuman. This is to me very astonishing. This shows that man, as he is born, He is born raw, he is born crude. He has to instill the right values to become human first, before he can aspire to become the superhuman, before he can aspire to do all sorts of things that he is planning to do, achieving to do in life. He has to become human first. For thousands of years, in all the progress that we have made, in all whichever dimensions we have explored for ourselves and opened for ourselves, being human is still the very basic. Being human is still very relevant. From the times of Patanjali, he even had to tell his yogis that have this non-greed, non-possessiveness, non-stealing. When everything is abundant, then why is he telling that? Let us understand what is this non-stealing, non-greed, non-possessiveness beyond the obvious sense of it. When we say non-stealing, what does that mean? That you are not stealing, and you would say, of course, I am not stealing, I am living my simple life, doing my work, having my family, I am not stealing, so all the riches as Patanjali is promising, they should present themselves to me. Why is it not happening? Understand what is non-stealing. Understand what is stealing. When something does not belong to you and you try to access that, you try to reach there without that thing belonging to you, that is, if you open up the word stealing, that is what it means. But why is it happening? Why is it significant? Why are we doing this consciously or unconsciously? You can see this in all relationships where people live together. Everyone is competing for the space, and everyone is trying to push each other out of the space. Why is that happening? There is a more fundamental reason to that. That has nothing to do with the psychological training, that has nothing to do with the ambitions and the dynamics that is going on in people, in relationships, in work, in society. We as consciousness are expanding. We as consciousness are made to expand. Our nature is expansive. Our nature is to expand beyond boundaries, beyond limits. The more we are put in boundaries, the more we are put in limits, the more we have this sense of breaking those boundaries, breaking those limits, and the consciousness to expand. So all this dynamics that we are experiencing in society, in families, in relationship, is what is coming in the way of this expansion. And both this expansion and the dynamics that is all around you, where you have to be in a mode of non-stealing, not crossing the boundary, this art has to be learned. But for that, you have to rest in this nature of expansion. You have to respect that nature of expansion that you have and everyone else has. You have to understand that this expansion cannot come in the outside world. It cannot come by possessing this or that. It cannot come by expressing the greed into the physical world. That expansion, the right channel, the right dimension of that expansion is your spirituality, is your consciousness. When your spirit, when your consciousness is expanding, when you're spiritually growing in dimensions, then inner wealth is made available to you. What does that mean? What is that inner wealth? Your inner peace, your bliss, harmony, love, all these things, freedom, all these things are your inner riches, inner wealth. There's no substitute to this wealth in any other dimension, not in the materialistic physical dimension, not in the psychological dimension, not even in the psychedelic dimension. So you have to come to the spiritual dimension where you expand as consciousness. Until you learn to expand as consciousness until you allow that process to happen without hurdles, with ease. You will constantly try to express that in the physical world, in the dynamics around you, and have problems and have issues, and would have to then put barriers on yourself by instilling these values of non-stealing, of non-possessiveness, of non-greediness. And when this happens, when this expansion of consciousness happens, according to Patanjali, there arises knowledge of the how and wherefore of existence. Knowledge of how, wherefore of existence simply means that you understand that you are, as consciousness, existence is also the same, the how and the where of existence. You understand this nature of this expansive consciousness, of this expansive existence. It is on an intellectual level only a description that the existence is expanding, the consciousness is expanding. But on the experiential level, the meaning of it, the experience of it is what is needed to really get it, to really be with it, to really in line with the existence and the how of existence, how this world is moving, and you move along with this world. If the world is expanding, the existence is expanding, you expand along with it, and so on. And there establishes a harmony between you and existence, between you and yourself. Meditation is that chance, is that moment, is that space where you move away from these worldly dimensions of material, of society, of family, of people, of everything else. You're all alone as consciousness. In these moments, you have no identification with anybody else. Take these moments as the moments just for you, just for your own growth. The growth is the spiritual growth, the expansion of consciousness. How does that happen? When you are in silence, when you maintain a certain restfulness in yourself, the consciousness automatically starts to expand, where the sensations of the body become irrelevant, the sensations of the mind become irrelevant, and the awareness goes on expanding, and you just flow along, you follow along and see that there is an infinite space that is available for you. There is an infinite expansion that is meant for you. With that, I invite you to close your eyes and take a posture that is comfortable for you, allowing you to leave the body at rest at its own weight, yet having a certain alertness in your posture, a restful alertness. Letting the body at rest so that you can draw your energies away from the body, unconcerned with the body. As your body finds its restful place, your awareness starts moving towards your mind. But just like the body, let your mind calm down, be at rest, and you remain unconcerned with your mind. The energies away from your mind the awareness away from your mind. Awareness away from the body, away from the mind, towards this emptiness, this space which is not physical, not mental, yet you can feel it. Give yourself a few moments to draw your awareness into this inner space. If you get distracted by your thoughts, pull yourself out, an awareness in this empty space, inside, outside, not in the physical sense, not in the mental sense. Space which is completely empty. And your awareness expanding restfully, expanding in all directions. Away from the body, away from the mind. Allowing the awareness to expand, to float, to be in this vast empty space. A space inside, outside. The space up, down, right, left, in front of you, behind you, in all directions. Letting your awareness free. Notice as your awareness expands, your body also finds rest. Your mind also calms down. In this space, there is no belongingness. There is no identification. Therefore, there is no greed, no possessiveness, no stealing. And a sense of inner peace, contentment, satisfaction, and being present in every moment. Bring your awareness back to your body, to your breath, to your mind, and very gently and slowly you may open your eyes with me, maintaining this sense of expansion of consciousness beyond the body, beyond the mind. Please share this message of expansion of consciousness with your family and friends. Namaste.